Hello everyone, I wanted to give everyone a peek into my G.I. Joe room, and we are actually just going to be looking at the Cobra side of things. This is all against one big wall. I have one big folding table and then a few extra milk crates scattered around. Start at the very beginning here. Most of these figures are from the comic packs that came out and kind of act as older versions. Some of these are also from the Toys R Us exclusive packs that they put out. These are all old O-ring figures, and what I've kind of done is I have these milk crates, and I also use CD crates. So I put my older figures in the back there, and then the newer figures in the front, kind of giving a chronology. Those are the old Neo Vipers. In the background there, you can even see some of the direct-to-consumer stuff that came out, including the Plague Troopers, and there's some Saw Vipers as well. Then I have a continuation of these in some of these smaller CD crates as well. That's the direct-to-consumer Range Viper, Desert Viper, from weird CVS stores and things like that. Again, most of this is just older O-ring stuff, but it's nice to kind of have it separated. This is just an odd little end that I had with the dollar store figures. Nowhere else to put them. So this is the main army itself. I have it kind of divided up. This is the blue section, and as I mentioned, I kind of go back to front in terms of history of figure. So we're really just looking at the standard Cobra Troopers leading into the Pursuit of Cobra figures, and then I have my Alley Vipers in the front. You'd want the heavily armored guys in the front. So next to those, we have the black and red Alley Vipers, leading into my Vipers, my Viper Army, and then as we kind of move back, we get into the strange colorations that they put out, into the Python Patrol stuff, and you can see the Python Patrol Crimson Guard. Moving into my Crimson Guard Army, and I try to get all of my Crimson Troopers together into one section, as you can see the variations there, and I even have my Red Alley Vipers and my Red Night Vipers in with that army. Moving over, kind of a Techno army. We have our Techno Vipers and our Heat Vipers. My massive bat army. I have a thing for bats. Behind that, two stations. You can see lots of Cobra Rays up at the top. Battle damage bats, Hazard Vipers. Nice little setup with some odds and ends figures. This is my San Diego Comic-Con, his tank, Shockwave, his tank. Over on the side, I've got my zombies there in a little setup. On top of all of this is my Night Vipers, or my Night Trooper section. In the center, we have the Cobra Security, some from that very short-lived cartoon. Then we have just kind of a city section with our shock troopers on either side, and some shock trooper leaders led by Firefly. Green Range Vipers, a whole set of them, again, in these kind of things. Jungle Vipers led by, I don't remember that guy's name, but there he is. Blue Range Vipers there. On the other side, these are from the Night Force 5 packs that came out. I have two of them there. Odds and ends figures all kind of fitting in the Night Force section. These are the black Dollar Trooper, Dollar exclusive, Dollar General Troopers. Here we have our Night Vipers led by Skullbuster, who is actually Crossbones from Marvel, but we won't tell anyone. My Ninja section, and on the very top we have a nice little group of green ninjas. Moving over to the side, we have Night Creepers, and this is the same on either side, with the blue ones in the front and then a group of red ones in the back. And then these are some of the older ninja figures. These are a lot of O-ring figures in the very back here, again, in these little blue tubs. Some of these aren't even ninjas. They just kind of fit in nicely into the group there. The Night Creepers were a figure that went around too. Black ninjas, then moving over to our red ninjas. You can see a Storm Shadow custom in there in the front. And again, more of these kind of odds and ends from the ninja packs that came out. In the front, a whole grouping of different types of Storm Shadows. Moving up to the air section, we have many Air Vipers there all ready to go. And in the background, we can see some jetpack troopers with Cobra Commander, the shiny face one. I gave him the red glider. Right next door, we have a few more of those claws and some trouble bubbles, 2 fire bats, a really great Destro who doesn't get enough love in my opinion, and then a whole bunch of Strato Vipers from the Invasion of Cobra Island pack. On the very top, you can see another one of the San Diego Comic-Con sets there. This is over on the very left side. I have another column of tubs. Older bats, these are all, again, all O-ringers. Most of these come from these online exclusive packs that came out that got very cheap towards the end, so I just bought a whole bunch. Like I said, I really love bats. Moving up, this is kind of another odds and ends. Most of these are actually Iron Man figures mixed in with some rarer ones that I keep in glass jars. Again, more bats. We have our variety of the jungle and the Arctic, and then I guess Night Bat is that's from the Resolute set. We have our mass device with some of the 50th Troopers, Data Vipers. They have their own little section. The very top, the Weather Dominator, and I gave Destro a little helicopter so he could get up there. Moving over to the right side of all of that, we have a little bit more Air Force. That's the incredibly hard to find Storm Shadow figures. Moving down, we kind of have our Desert Command with different figures, including a few customs. One too many Storm Shadows, so we kind of put them all in their own section. Arctic Command with various figures there as well. These are the Lava Vipers that I really enjoyed as well. Moving forward, we have our first section of Hiss Tank Drivers. And then we have our Desert Troopers. This is actually 3 of the Desert Trooper packs that were online at Big Bad Toy Store. Moving down, we have our Dreadnought section. Some of these are actually still O-ring figures. We have old Brock Lesnar up there in the front as Road Pig. Moving down, we're getting into the movie stuff, which people aren't very happy with, but more Hiss tanks and kind of a weird little industrial section. These are my snake armors, different variations thereof. Moving into our water section, we have our lamprey drivers and the Cobra eels from the movie, which I didn't really think was that bad of a figure. Moving over, we have our regular Cobra divers and our collection of Cobra eels. There's a nice little close-up of the Baroness figure leading everybody. Moving to the Arctic section, you can see a whole variety of different things here. You can see a little custom that I made there in the front leading our troops. A lot of this is from the Arctic sets that came out, and then I bought a lot of the Snow Troopers. The Snow Troopers were my favorite figure when I was a kid, so I indulged a little with that. Another piece from the movie section. These are the Elite Vipers that weren't very popular, but I kind of think they're decent figures. Moving into the M.A.R.S section, you can see our heavy gunners, the Chronicles of Narnia Castle, which everyone uses for Castle Destro. There in the front, you can see Blackadder. I've given him a whole collection of dogs. This is underneath. These are a few milk crates. You can see the vehicles. More of these Neo Viper sections from the movie. Again, these were pretty cheap towards the end of their run, so I managed to get a nice little army together. Some of the stranger variations they put out, including the Crimson one. More of the vehicles. I keep my vehicles on the bottom rung there. This is my Storm Shadow / Snake Eyes section, just an overflow of all of the different Storm Shadow figures that have come out over time. This is my Cobra Command section, where I kind of have isolated one of each of the figures in their prime, kind of like we saw at the very beginning there. Here's Serpentor's group with, the various figures, and then a spillover just showing all of the different variations of the major figures that we have between the Baroness and Cobra Commander. And here I have just a huge amount of variations all in one picture of Cobra Commander himself.